Hi, this is Chris Bentson, and it's time for another Resource Minute. Today's topic, the importance of tracking revenue per FTE. Let's begin by defining what an FTE is. Basically, it's the number of employees you have in your practice. And so you would take your annual revenue, in this example, $1.8 million. If you have 10 employees, when you divide 10 into 1.8, you have $180,000 worth of revenue per full-time equivalent in your practice. I want you to start tracking this number because it's important for you to manage as you go more and more into digital. You're supposed to receive efficiencies on digital, fewer appointments. That should mean fewer staff people, so it should mean greater revenue per FTE, and that's what we're seeing if you really pay attention to this. As an example, I asked our team to pull the last 5 valuations that left our office, and here's the data on that. You see practice 1 through 5. We show you what they collected in this little chart, the number of doctors they had, their overhead that I want you to pay attention to. You can see a low of 40% to a high of 78%. That's a big, big range. Your digital share of chair, what is that? That's out of all your comprehensive starts, how many of those have a lab fee, which is either with aligners or digital braces. So you can see that that varies in this data set from 10% to 62%. And then finally, the number we're talking about today, and that I want you to focus on, is your revenue per FTE. Big variance here. It's all the way from 98,000, not so great, to 414,000, the center of the bullseye. And so what you need to know first is, what is my revenue per FTE? Go find that out if you don't know it. And then as your digital share of chair is wherever it is today and migrates up or down, you can kind of titrate where your revenue per FTE needs to be in order to keep your overhead at historical norms, which are about 60%. We built a chart to help you with this, and this is a good one to take a picture of. But basically, this shows you as your share of chair migrates from 15% to 70%. And again, share of chair is the digital number of starts that have a lab fee. That's usually in aligners or digital braces. Where should your revenue per FTE track in order to keep your overhead about the same? So this is, I hope, good information for you to know. Go find out what your revenue per FTE is. That's the Resource Minute we thought you'd want to know.